Wow, it's really bright up here. Thank you, President Williams, Provost Gadesi, fellow graduates, faculty, staff, families, and friends. Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to start by acknowledging something we all have in common. We've all lied about exactly the same thing. Don't worry, I won't get us all in trouble. Here's what I mean. When we first arrived at RISD, we made grand promises about how we'd explore all of Providence. I would visit every gallery. I would wander the waterfront. I would try every restaurant. But let's be honest, we all ended up in the same place, didn't we? The studio. A month or so ago, I was on the RISD Rides bus at 3 a.m. coming home from the studio just before the service stops running. That's usually my sign to go home unless I greet the cleaning crew at sunrise. The RISD Rides driver, Mike, asked me what my plan was for last semester. I said, I'm probably gonna bask under the fluorescent lights of the type shop until they kick me out. He laughed and said, "Ha, you're just like every other RISD student, always in the studio. Why don't you guys get out a little?" I burst out laughing because he was absolutely right. I remember after the new grad student picnic at Tillinghass Farm, thinking I would go again every weekend. I was also going to take the train to Boston every week, just because the MBTA is only $10. Sounds easy, right? But now, as I sat on the RISD Rides bus, galloping through the night, I realized even this, my most routine little adventure, would not happen much longer. At that precise moment, it hit me with crystal clarity. This is actually my last semester at RISD. And not only that, maybe my last semester of ever being a student, full-time. For many of us, our MFA is our last stop as a student, forever. Whenever we stress about this, friends say, just enjoy your last summer. Pretty soon, you'll be part of the capitalist machine. I hear them, but for now, I'm just stuck in the past. When will we push through the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. studio classes again? When will we complain about getting a 2:30 p.m. registration time? When will we jam the studio printer with diabolical paper, halting production till tomorrow? When will we gather on the couches to discuss the floor plan of a biennial that we have complete control over? When else will we celebrate our communal suffering? Eating dinner at 11 p.m., crying over software crash at 2 a.m., as if working like this isn't completely anti-human. These experiences are so RISD specific. The things we laugh about, complain about, gossip about, critique about, get upset about, get touched about, they all happen in our wonderful studio space. And those spaces, like this time, are fleeting. RISD has been more than just an education. It's been a playground for experimentation and risk-taking, which would be really hard to replicate in the professional world. RISD has given us a safe harbor to push boundaries without the immediate pressure of market demands or client expectations. Where else can we 3D scan and reprint the same rubber duck 15 times in the name of academic inquiry? or create an elaborate installation that requires 3 weeks to install and only exists for half an hour. Or write and design a beautifully bound book in defense of QR codes as if they were an endangered species of visual language. Or have the audacity to invent a new writing system that no one, including us, can actually read. All true stories, by the way. We've all been free to experiment wildly, fail spectacularly, and to pursue ideas simply because they fascinate us. Our cohorts have become not just colleagues, but also accomplices in creative crimes, conspirators in conceptual adventures. In the professional world we're heading into, failure is expensive. Budgets don't tolerate detours or weird sparks that fizzle out. Instead, you have to touch base at the 8 a.m. check-in and meet your targets, make the logo bigger, go back to version 1. Those aren't jokes in the real world. That's your whole Tuesday. But here's the thing I'm hoping about the future. Even inside all those corporate constraints, we get to decide how we show up. Maybe we cannot fail spectacularly in the same way, but we can still think like the people who do. We can bring the studio with us in how we question, how we push, in how we make something a little weirder, a little riskier, and a little more ours. Maybe the studio shows up when you're spiraling into perfectionism at work. Maybe you suddenly hear a cohort's voice echoing in your head. Stop thinking and start making. Maybe it's in a passing comment you remember from Crit, when someone encouraged you to follow the strange idea instead of the safe one. That's studio. That's RISD. It lives in us now, in the micro decisions, in the rejection of defaults, and in seeing a sliver of possibility to overturn the expectations. As I sat on the RISD bus that night, watching the familiar streets of Providence slip by in darkness, I realized something really profound. We don't actually leave RISD behind when we graduate. The late nights in the studio, the breakthroughs during critique, the failures that led to unexpected discoveries, they've all become part of our creative DNA now. As permanent as the paint stains on our fingernails or the muscle memories of our hands on the tools. Mike, the bus driver, was actually right. We did end up spending most of our time in the studio. But that's not as dire as it sounds. Because once you've been transformed by RISD, the boundaries of the studio dissolve into life itself. So as we prepare to step off this particular bus, remember that the ride doesn't end here. We're just changing vehicles, carrying with us the precious cargo of our RISD experience. And so, fellow graduates, as we turn this page, remember the ink is still wet. The canvas still breathes with possibility. Our greatest works lie ahead, waiting to be born. For us, these moments at RISD are some of our last, but they also will last. And we will see each other out there. We will feel a flicker of connection when we meet someone who's been in these studios, someone who is still jamming the printer, still making something a little weird. Congratulations, class of 2025. May your creativity forever flow like the Providence River. You know, the one that you never ever walked alone? Sometimes tranquil, sometimes rushing, but always, always moving forward. Thank you.